Driving to the train show. We're driving to the train show. Driving to the train show. Brought the minivan today. Might be buying a lot of trains, so we can leave the space. So I thought I'd show you guys a quick little preview of the awesome layout they have in the basement at this train show, and then I'll show you some footage of the vendor hall and give you some tips maybe in case you haven't been to a train show before. Then I promise I'll be quiet and just give you some footage of this cool layout they have. And at the end, I will show you what I picked up and tell you if it's worth attending this next year. All right, the bank was a little busy, which is not normal for them on a Saturday morning, but whatever. I thought I was going to be late, but I'm actually about 5 minutes right before the show opened, so that's cool. And yeah, I'm not kidding. So if you've never gone to like a train show before, bring cash.
Changing 500.
But pull out some cash. And that's not, I got more cash than I normally carry around in my wallet. But one, G-Scale is expensive. But also, most of these guys are set up to take credit cards, in my experience. However, vendors, they generally prefer cash. Nobody likes paying credit card fees. And I don't know, I suspect some of these guys also have, their inventory is also attached to like businesses and stuff like that. So they probably don't want to deal with like sales tax or income tax or whatever. So you can generally get a better deal if you're paying cash. That's my 2 cents. So there you go.
Turn the lights on.
All right, I found it. Same place it was 2 years ago. And you can see downtown Warren there in the distance. And there's something going on in the Warren town square today. I don't know what, but there's a lot of concession guys and stuff set up. I could smell the Italian sausages already cooking, so that smelled yummy. Might have to stop over there real quick after the train show. It's kind of hard to see, but these trailers full of trains. There's guys unloading and stuff. I didn't want to bother them, but we found the train show. I'm excited. Up, there's a line. LGB Pico Bachmann USA train, so I'll have free catalogs right at the front. Here's the front doors. And I'm guessing this room's about 3,500 square feet, something like that. It's a good size, several aisles. So the Southern Pacific's there. I was really surprised with how much Western Railroad stuff I saw here. I expected just to see a lot of B&O and maybe Pennsy, New York Central. But on the layout downstairs, there were Santa Fe locos. I saw a lot of Southern Pacific and Rio Grande stuff, which I'm used to seeing that stuff because I grew up in California. I just didn't really expect to see it out here. That made it cool. So when you go to one of these things, everybody's super nice and friendly and polite, but a lot of guys are singularly focused. It's like a kid in a toy store, so they're not always watching where they're going, and sometimes you get bumped into and stuff, and everybody's cool, but you just gotta say excuse me and move on. We saw that Bud Light reefer right back there. I think he's gonna have a hard time selling that these days. He's probably gonna have to discount that quite a bit more. Oh well. I had never seen a Corona reefer before. I thought that was pretty cool. Foreshadowing. And this guy just had a ton of beer cards. Very nice man. I didn't catch his name, but I talked with him for a little bit. Super nice guy. And lots of buildings for sale. I don't think these are kits. I think somebody scratch built these, I think. I could be wrong, but if they If they are kits, they built them very, very nicely, and they got some patina on them and stuff. This alligator in the livestock car cracked me up. It just cracked me up. I don't know why. I don't know if he was supposed to be there. I don't know if the alligator was going for a ride or if he's playing hobo or what. But it just kind of cracked me up. Whoever heard of an alligator on a train? I mean, I guess that's how they get to the zoo, right? But I don't know. It just struck me as funny. No. I don't want to be in the way.
I'll do a slow one for you on the way in there.
Just know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So it is Saturday evening. I've been home for a few hours, and I enjoyed the show. I did the first time I went. It's their third year of doing the show. I went the first year. I didn't go last year. I don't remember. I don't remember why. I must have had some kind of conflict or something going on, but I didn't go last year. But I did go the first year, and I was kind of hesitant to go back to the show this year. And it's not that I didn't have a good time the first year or anything like that, but the first year I went with my dad, and he passed away about 4 months ago. And while he wasn't maybe like a big model railroader guy or anything, he enjoyed going to check it out and stuff. And move the kitty cat here. But he really enjoyed going to check it out, and just thinking about it, it's probably his mobility was really going downhill at that point, and it's probably one of the last, like other than going to get food or something, it's probably one of the last outings I think we had together. So that it just I thought this would bring up some emotion or something, and once I got there, it was fine. It really wasn't too bad. It was just, I was there for the trains, so that was my reason for my hesitation. Totally going to go next year. I'm amazed at how much the show has grown. It's about the same size it was the first year, but I mean, as far as like vendors and stuff, but there's a lot more people. I think attendance has gone up considerably. I'm also surprised at how far the vendors come from. The show is in Warren, Ohio, which is near Youngstown, and Youngstown's like halfway between Pittsburgh and Cleveland, if that helps you. And of course, there's people like from Cleveland. But I met vendors and just customers from Columbus. That's a little over 2 hours away, from Cincinnati, which I've driven across Ohio from the west end of Ohio many times. Ohio's deceptively wide. Now, Youngstown's right at the eastern edge of Ohio. We're like 10 miles from the Pennsylvania state line. To get to Cincinnati, it takes over 4 hours. So, especially the vendors that came from Cincinnati, either they came last night and crashed at a hotel, or they were up really, really early. So that was cool. I met a vendor that came from Georgia, all the way from Georgia. Isn't that cool? So yeah, I mean, it's very, if you like G scale, like this is a very cool thing to go to, because it's just all G scale. So I'll say that. So let me show you what I bought. And talking about the sentimental nature of going to the show. So this is a Aristocraft, which they sadly don't make these anymore, right? So, but it's the Corona. I'm sorry, Corona. I lost my train of thought for a second. The Corona reefer car, and I'm not. I don't drink beer at all, and I rarely drink alcohol. And when I do, it's never beer. I don't care for the taste. My dad wasn't a huge beer drinker or anything, but he really liked Corona. Like if we were at a Mexican restaurant or something like that, he'd order a Corona. That was kind of like his go-to beer. So I think, just one of the very first vendors had it. You may have spotted it earlier in the video, but and I had never seen a Corona. I'd seen like the Budweisers and the Millers and stuff before, but I'd never seen a Corona reefer. So and it was, it's never been opened. It's new. He had it priced at 55, and I thought that was reasonable. So, especially for one I hadn't really seen before. So, just kind of a little nod to my dad there. I don't know. Um, I don't know if how much I'm going to run it or anything, but that's the story there. So now this one is also kind of there's an interesting story here. This was just kind of loose. I gosh, I don't think I got his name, but we talked for like 10, 15 minutes. The vendor that had this, and so you got the Thompson Hine, and most of you probably don't know what Thompson Hine is, and neither did the guy selling it. And I asked, I said Thompson Hine because even the font is familiar to me. I thought maybe it was just a coincidence, company with the same name or something. And he's like, yeah, I'm not sure what that is. And I said, well, it's a law firm in Cleveland. And if you watch my other YouTube channel, the reason I can afford all the G-scale trains I have is I work in commercial real estate. I'm an investor and semi-retired at this point, I guess. But that's kind of what I really focused on. And here in Ohio, the law firm I use for all my business stuff is Thompson Hine. When I told him that's a law firm I'd done a lot of business with, I think he assumed it was like something like criminal. I was like, no, nothing bad. It was just business. So he told me an interesting story about another law firm in Cleveland. The guy's famous for having billboards all over Northeast Ohio. I'm not going to share that here, though, but it was an interesting anecdote. So I guess this ran on an outdoor layout at a botanical garden for years, and I guess the way the Garden Railroad was paid for at this botanical garden up in Cleveland, and I don't remember the name. I'm not even sure if he told me. But the way it was funded was a lot of Cleveland businesses donated, and then they got a car on the layout. So apparently the I don't know how old this is, but apparently the law firm I use, which I'm sure has been around for many years, they sponsored a car. So it's a little weathered because it's been outside and stuff, but I'm gonna clean it up a little bit and probably review it, and then I might actually send it off to my attorney. I'm sure she doesn't have a model railroad or anything like that, but it was not expensive at all. We made a deal for $15 because he's been apparently carting it around to different shows for years and is tired of moving it. So, and I might, if it cleans up okay, I might just send it off to my attorney and tell her, hey, if you want to throw it in a wastebasket, no hard feelings. It wasn't expensive, but a lot of times people like to put stuff from their company or whatever, and maybe it'll look cool on a bookshelf or something in her office. She's a partner there, so that might appeal to her. Maybe she already has one of these, or maybe she'll be like, wow, and nobody else in the office has one. Who knows? But anyway, so this is kind of cool. I'm not sure who made this. If somebody knows, maybe you can tell me. I'm really not sure. I haven't seen anything that kind of gives it away to me. I don't think it's LGB just because of the couplers. I mean, it might be an Arisco, and I don't believe it's a Pico. So I guess that kind of leaves USA Trains and Aristocraft maybe, but I'm not really sure on that at all. So that was item number 2. And this last one I am very excited about. I got this livestock car. It was decorated for Santa Fe. And so there was a store that focused on G-scale, and I never got to go there, but it was in the Columbus area, and I heard the owner had health issues. I also heard he just wanted to retire. So I don't know why it doesn't exist anymore. It was in Newark, Ohio. It was called G-Scale Junction, and near Columbus, apparently. And so I heard a couple different things, but he was actually at the event with, I don't know if it's a daughter or maybe he's got a young hot wife. I don't know, but anyway, but he was there, and he, if you remember in the video, there was a couple trailers in the parking lot. That was him. They didn't have enough space, and I don't know if he was just kind of a late addition or what, but they didn't have enough space for him in the vendor hall, so they let him set up in the parking lot, and he just had like these couple pallets full of cars, and of course the one I wanted here was at the very bottom, and it took some work to dig out, but $79, and that was, thought that was a fair price. They tell me all their stuff was new unless it said otherwise, so appears to be. So that's cool. I always like to get stuff for the Santa Fe. And that is my takeaway from the train show. There were so many cool things. Lots of locomotives. You gotta exercise some self-control when you go to these things. And I already have more locomotives than I can run. I'd love to have more, but I have one or two things in mind, and then I think that's it for a while. So, but I'm always adding rolling stock, as you can see. And sorry for the mess. My layout situation is still in flux. Just a little bit about the channel going forward. I'm going to upload a G-Scale review every Saturday morning, and it'll go up at I'm thinking like 9 Eastern, so it'll be like 6 Pacific, and that way you can watch a G-Scale review, and maybe I'm reviewing that thing you were thinking about, and you'll know I can help you with your decision making process before you go to your hobby store on Saturday morning. I think that's when a lot of us hit the hobby store. So that's G-Scale definitely every Saturday morning. And I'm going to upload a second video on Thursdays. I do some Brio, which strangely the Brio videos do really well. So just I like to toss that in here and there because that's what I played with the most as a kid, and I'm amazed they're still around and they're still kind of fun, whatever. So Thursday will be like a Brio or possibly a rail fanning video. I don't do that a ton, but sometimes I go out, get a few trains. So possibly rail fanning video, or I got, I don't know how many I have, but I got 50 plus Pico rolling stock. I got a stack of USA Trains and LGB over here and a couple random Aristocrats. I don't know. Maybe there'll be weeks where I do two G-Scale reviews. I think there probably will be, in fact. So that's the schedule going forward. And then my layout, I'm waiting for, I wish I had the common sense just to wait. Because they had all these bridges and stuff, and I need some bridges before I can complete my circuit here in the basement. And I should have waited and bought them today, but I already ordered them, and I could have saved a ton of money had I done that. So lesson learned: wait for the train show before you order stuff. But so I'm waiting for those, and I bought some track, and the wrong thing came, so I'm waiting for a replacement switch, and then I can move all this around. But I have off to my left here, I have a temporary, it's just two DC ovals, and I'll be using that temporarily, I think, for a few weeks. It's as you guys probably know, when you're putting down a lot of track, it's kind of a pain. That is probably my least favorite. I love the ability to move them around, but I hate laying it all down. So that's what's coming. And then at some point I'll rearrange all this, and I have my plan for the train to go behind me and around, and I think that'll work out really well. But anyway, so that was it for the Northeast Ohio large scale G-Scale train show in 2023. I don't know how many other train shows I'll be hitting. The one in York, Pennsylvania, I'd really like to go to next year. And there's another large-scale show. I believe it's in Annapolis, Maryland. Both of those are very much driving distance for me. So those are two I know I want to hit. Canfield, Ohio has a toy and train show coming up in October. That's very close to home, so I'll probably will hit that. I've gone to that in the past. It's fine, but there's a limited amount of G-Scale. It's just kind of open to all scales, and also the guys that do toys and stuff. So I think I'll hit that, but I don't know how much G-Scale stuff there'll be to show you guys. So All right, I'm going to stop rambling. That's the end of the video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll think about subscribing, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks.